Good morning, good afternoon, well, or good evening, depending on where people see this recorded. I was thinking the other day that actually I don't like that phrase because I look at podcasts and they say I was thinking the other day and then they have the most insane take. I'm like, bro, why were you thinking this? So, what is top of mind for you? Do you have anything you're thinking about recently?
Oh, I don't know. Uh,
That's fair.
internal monologue. I
Hmm.
recently found out that not everyone has a talking head. So let me. Okay,
Elaborate.
I will elaborate. Okay,
Yes.
I found out that some people's mind is kind of like quiet, and not that they don't have any thoughts, but in
Mhm.
the sense that they don't have a continuous stream of thoughts
Mhm.
that elaborates itself as a monologue with
Okay.
words and sentences, and that just goes on. It's like a radio station of yourself, of your thoughts, always streaming.
Mhm.
I thought it was normal. Apparently, some people enjoy the quiet. What's your take on that?
Okay. Very cool. Very interesting. I think the goal is so I would say having a continuous stream of consciousness and not being able to moderate it is a sign of compulsiveness. So similar to how when you want a snack and you act on it or whatever. Pick your version of compulsiveness. Maybe it's some vice, maybe it's something else. I think the goal with a lot of meditation practices is to understand that um, silence is possible. And I have experienced this when I was more consistent with my practice. It's just so dumb to me when I vocalize this stuff. Like, I have no idea why I don't practice more because of how many compounding benefits it gave me. But anyway, that's a separate thing. I think um, it is possible for everyone to quieten their mind a bit. And the best way that I like to think of it, the goal is to get like an inch of space between you and your thoughts. So you are not your thoughts, just having like like a little bit of a gap between, okay, this is all the drama of today. This is all the stuff that's going on. There's stuff happening. Everything's crazy. But having that inch of space or curating that inch of space helps a lot with just mental well-being, in my opinion. But I do think that similar to how we just grab for our phone to get a hit of dopamine or watch a show or listen to music or listen to podcasts, so there's a consumption loop that's just ongoing. And I am very guilty of having stuff on the background while doing chores and stuff. So I would think that continuous feeding does not give us enough time to reflect and think. And also, we do work and also we do other stuff. And once you don't have enough time of introspection, it is very, the normal outcome for me would be that you have a very busy mind. So for me, it's very much the case that the better organized I am in my life, the quieter my mind is. By organized, I mean, I'm doing my practices, I'm exercising, I have my work, like everything's under control. It's the chatter kind of dies down, but the worse manager I am of everything, like the more I have this like erratic, compulsive tendencies to just spiral off into the horizon.
Yeah, I tend to see um my thoughts like constantly analyzing um even just the way I think.
Hmm.
Uh l- I feel like they are compulsively introspective,
Yeah.
but to the point of detriment.
Yep,
I don't want. I don't know. There is something as being uh, unhealthily self-aware,
of course. Of course.
and
I agree.
yes, this for everyone.
Yeah.
Some people are too self-aware. We should stop.
Uh,
Don't have enough to feel ashamed.
yes, I agree. However, with the detrimental, the self-awareness, the point of detriment, I think it's very often the case with um people who tend to analyze everything. Now there's, and I'll tell you why this is like why this is so vicious. This is a very niche thing. I don't think this is going to add a lot of value to most people, but here's how I think about it. We get reinforced by how we solve problems. So we solve problems in the world through trying to do something about it, which some people think before acting, some people don't think before acting. If you are the type of person who analyzes stuff and wants to make things better, and you have, on more occasions than not, found a workable solution. Maybe you didn't solve the problem, but you found a solution for that instance. You talked to someone, you delayed something, you made a plan, then you have been reinforced. That is how you solve problems. Now, the issue of the mind is that it is a tool. We have a lot of intelligence that is not our mind. For example, like our gut, like I mean it literally, like our the food we
Yes.
turn into teeth and eyes and flesh and bone. We don't do that consciously. I don't beat my heart, I don't breathe. But our conscious reality makes us seem like this mind and this chatter is all there is. It is not true. Um Now I could go into the whole branch of psychotherapy where um what would be a good example? I want to come up with a good example for this. So yes, the mind affects the body, but the body also affects the mind. So when you're
Yeah.
angry, you tell people to take a deep breath. Before sports, there's breathing techniques to conserve your energy, like to calm yourself down when you're anxious. There's breathing techniques. There's things that you do when you are in a slump. Exercise is a great way to get some energy into you, some vitality into you. So our body also is a large knob on the things that we control internally, but we don't, we kind of just abuse our body till we have to, our doctor tells us we're going to die or something. Besides the point, what I'm trying to say is the mind is a tool that is meant for certain things. Like you have past data, which is, everything you have in your brain that you took in, and you use the mind to analyze and dissect and put things together. It's like a knife if you think about it. Like it just dissect problems and figure shit out. Now, if you try to use a knife to continue with the analogy to stitch something together, you're gonna end up with a shitty, like torn up piece of fabric,
Yes.
which is what we do. Like if if there's nothing to dissect, there's only a cruel reality that some bad thing has happened, or you have to deal with something that cannot be fixed, as is most of life. You cannot fix your like everything day to day, or even your internal. You can't analyze it and like beat it down to a solution. It just doesn't work that way.
No, it doesn't.
So I think yes, the mind or overthinking is to the point of detriment. I think it's very vicious because you have been reinforced to solve problems this way, and now you're supposed to not solve problems. So what am I supposed to do?
I mean,
So
I don't think the mind identifies which problem it can solve and which it
yeah,
cannot solve.
yes,
Um,
yeah,
okay, this is kind of like a tangent, but I will close it as maybe at some point. I have systems for everything,
okay,
and I became aware of that as I had to introduce another person to my systems. For
okay,
example, a system for folding the laundry, for a system to put my
yep,
clothes in my closet. Like it's to load the dishwasher. I think there is a scientific way to do it.
Yeah.
And so the thing is, like, if I can do it in that way, if I can do all of those things in that way, my brain
Yeah.
is happy
Okay. Yeah.
because all those problems have been solved, and they are
Efficiently.
solved every time I load the
Yes.
dishwasher, you
Uh-huh.
know?
Yep.
But then there are people, and people are not dishwashers, and I can't systematize them into like a way to pack and unpack them with
Yes.
knives first and small spoons later, you know?
Is this the hack? Knives first, small spoons. That's the
Okay,
playbook.
there is okay, let's assume that you have a 3-level dishwasher. The first
Okay.
level, the first drawer is for cutlery. You
Uh-huh.
start at one end with the
Mm-hmm.
first knife. At the other end, you start with the first small spoon, and then you
Okay.
meet in the center. In the center, you will have forks and bigger spoons. And
Okay.
why you do so? Because if you kind of like guess where something goes, you will have all them mismatched. And when
Okay.
you are going to put them away, you will have to sort through them. Instead, if you do it my way, you just grab the first portion and you know that those are
Put
the
it.
little spoons and you put them away.
Uh-huh.
Same thing you do for the bigger spoons, the forks, and the knives.
This should be a tutorial on YouTube with your
Maybe.
commentary. Yeah.
And in the second drawer, there are like kind of like spikes
Yeah.
for small balls.
Uh-huh.
You are supposed to start from the front because if you start from the back, every time you put in a bowl, you will have to kind of like touch the dirty interior of the bowl that was before. Instead, if you start from the front, every time
You're
you
done.
put a new bowl, you touch the back, which is clean. And the same thing applies to plates in the bottom drawer.
You start from the
Is
front.
yeah, no, like I mean, I have them distributed like a center to left and center to right. So I start
Okay.
from the center.
Okay. So you work your way out. Yeah. Makes sense.
Yes, it makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Like
There you go.
it is efficient.
Yes.
But then there are people who just
Are not
throw the plate.
dishwashers.
Yes, that they put the plates randomly. How do you
Yes.
how do you deal with that? And you explain to them the reasoning. You explain the logic, the science. You say it's more sanitary, and they forget.
Yes. I have mixed thoughts about this. So, for something as important to me as cleanliness, I agree that this dishwasher, like, there's no reason not to follow this rule. The dishwasher rule is written in stone. This should be followed. This should come as part of the manual. That being said, there is something to say for people who are over optimizers, and I fall within this category. And optimizing everything for efficiency is not a now. It depends on the level to which you go. If you optimize things that need to be optimized, that's fine. If you optimize and build systems because you think systems are fun, that's also great. Um, if you try and optimize human beings like their dishwashers, that's where it starts to become a little unrealistic. And we need to look at the mirror and say, maybe this is not how we can do this.
I just don't understand why it's not something that is as important for others as it is for me.
Yes, that is.
After I explain the reasoning, because I understand this is just like this is autistic rant. I think
Uh huh.
part of how like why I build the systems and like categorize everything is also because of that. But like
Hmm.
I understand not getting things uh, if you are ignorant.
Okay.
okay, like you genuinely don't know. I'm here to explain. I'm very happy to explain everything
Mm,
to you.
yes, of
But
course.
if after you hear the explanation, you still don't care, this is where my brain kicks in and is like, you gotta find a solution.
You have to
You gotta
fight
find. Yes,
to like
you have to.
knives out. Yeah. Um, people just it's I don't think there's anything wrong with your explanation. It's just some people don't care. I think it would
Why?
be
Why?
it's
And when
just
I ask why, they don't know how to explain it. And if someone asked me why I don't care, I would have a 10-page essay for them.
yes. This is uh look, I relate to this very very much. I have worked through these conversations. Now, I've met a whole range of answers when I've pressed. Like I've gotten into fights for stuff like this, and the answers when you have like somebody in a corner and they cannot escape, they say the range of answers is I am just like this, which is not very helpful. It also doesn't tell me well what was the problem.
It angers me. You're
I'm
stoking the fire.
yeah, I'm just like this, and or something like it's not as important. So it dwindles down into some sort of abstraction. I think what's important here to maintain your sanity is know which battles to fight, and the only thing you can control is yourself. So just realizing that you know what this is part of what life is about. There's other people that I do not understand, which is why there will be people who don't understand me, and then you distract yourself with some funny TikTok cat videos, and then you move on.
We are going to hate each other until the day we die. I'm probably going to hate you. You will not remember me, but that's
Yeah,
fine.
hate is a strong word though. Like this is another cool thing. I who was this? It was some spiritual meditation guy. He was talking about like the hate thing. It's so entrenched in ego, and I'm not saying this in like a bad or good sense, but um usually when there is I'm not saying you actually hate the person who didn't follow the dishwasher manual, but if you say you hate somebody, there is frequently a lot of room for some self-reflection. Like when you actually like viscerally hate someone, it points to a lot of the things that you cling on to. And I mean, bro, we're conscious organic matter on a mud ball spinning through space. Like why do we hate each other? But then we do. And
I mean, I have mixed thoughts on hate. And
okay.
okay, we're talking on the internet, arguably the most hateful place on earth.
Is it though?
It
I would debate.
is.
I would debate that claim. I think this is funnily enough, the internet is just a simulation for what aggregated people would be like with the veil with the fact that they have a mask. So man, this is such a rich topic. I'll circle back to that.
I feel I agree with what you say that like hate towards something usually like points out to something within yourself. I mean, it's not because I say it, but like also Jung talked about it as
Yeah.
like a projection of like a shadow material and ostracized thoughts or ostracized feeling within oneself,
Uh-huh.
um, to which I 100% subscribe. Um,
Mhm.
but in a way, like hate and like being a hater is so widespread on the internet that it's almost cheap and
Yeah.
like
Rage bait. I'm rage baiting. I'm rage
not
baiting him.
just not just that, but like random hate comments,
Yeah.
um, and like how that then they create a whole thread of anti-hateful like
Yeah.
anger the commentary like towards the first hater. So and like
Yeah.
the story goes on, but like it has almost cheapened the the true meaning of the word
Hate.
in which like hate, like it's very passionate and
Yeah.
it's very much the opposite of non-caring. And if hate is spread through trolls,
Yeah.
like machines that by definition don't really have feelings, uh it feels like something repeatable. Is that like
Mm-hmm.
how you say it? Repeatable?
Yeah. Repeatable. Yeah.
And it loses a little bit of that meaning. Like, what would it be like to be hated for your guts, for the person you truly are, as a, I don't know, as a sworn enemy? That would be so cool. Like, what did I
Yeah.
do to deserve that? Instead of receiving like a shitty comment like, oh, your English sucks. I don't know, bro. Go fuck
Yeah.
yourself.
Go fuck yourself. Yeah. Yeah.
Hate
So
me for something cool.
you're. This plays into that wanting to be the villain, that part of the internet. Like there's the be the hero, be the protagonist. If your life were a movie, what would the hero, that kind of stuff. And then there's the cooler counterculture kids with like dark aesthetic, moody, rainy weather, and them training in a hoodie, like be the villain, train to be the villain, be the Darth
But that is
Vader.
so cringe.
But the idea that if you do not have a place in the world, and if there you have a lot of, so this actually ties into, oh my god, there's so many places I can go with this. I am lost. Let me start with Attack of Titan. I will work this in. So
Okay.
Carl Schmitt, who was a Nazi philosopher, but he had some good ideas. He was just a Nazi. We can overlook the small things. Um, he said that when you have a common enemy, that is when you band together, and without an enemy, you will create chaos inside your own community or tribe or whatever.
I
This is
feel like
Yes, go
this
ahead.
was not a very hot take.
It was not. It is a very, very lukewarm take. He probably had some other analysis, but this is what I remember.
Okay.
Um, when you engage with philosophical material through Claude summaries, you don't remember a whole lot, but it does the job for internet podcasting because we're really smart. Yes. So Attack on Titan is. Have you seen the show?
I tried. I can't do it.
I think it's really well done. So there they have a common enemy outside of the walls, and the plot is more complicated. It's not actually about the Titans. There's enemies within. There's a lot of stuff going on. But as long as humanity had only one threat of extinction, they banded together within the walls, and that was civilization. The minute the things became more complicated, there was a lot more conflict internally. Where am I going with this? This comes with the whole to be hated for my guts. I think if you had actual enemies who hated you purely, that would be a form of freedom. Because there's this person who hates you, and if you only had enemies, it really doesn't matter what you do. You can just say fuck all and you just be you, because I mean everybody hates you anyway. So there's a sense of liberation from like the panopticon gaze.
Kind of, yeah.
Circle it back. There's a liberation from, because like anyone to perceive you as someone who wants to kill you, so you just live on your own. um of course there's
This is
also
very Leviathan Hobbes
Leviathan.
take.
Yes, it is actually. Leviathan is a political, for the viewers, maybe it has a really cool book cover. It's a political commentary on society and
Yes,
politics
the
and
social
how we.
contract. It starts
That's
with
really
the
cool.
thesis Homo homini lupus, which means the man is a wolf to other men, in the sense that without a commonly agreed social contract, so basic rules of human coexistence, men, in the opinion of hopes are inherently drawn to uh, overpower other men.
Anarchy,
And yes,
essentially. Yeah,
anarchy. I wouldn't say anarchy because he was more for like a dictatorial kind of
yeah,
state,
yeah.
very harsh and enforced rules that he
Uh-huh.
viewed as
Just.
a necessary
Yeah.
evil,
Mm-hmm.
uh, because otherwise, without those constraints, the humankind would just like descend into violence, kind of
Yeah.
like The Walking Dead.
Yeah. I in my opinion, this is a very Western take. Um,
I agree.
it's very
It
cool.
has
I
limitations, but
I think, of course, I think it's cool. I think that take, it says that you are essentially channeling the animalistic instincts. I have a problem with the word animalistic, but we'll use it for case in point. That's the best one I can think of. Your
base,
instincts.
like primal,
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah, yeah, primal, I suppose. Like, I am stronger, I will assert my force on this other person. I will stronger, I will take. I see food, I eat food. Like, that's
Yeah.
actually very similar to how people think on the internet, believe it or not. So, I mean, we're there. But it takes that and transforms those drives, institutionalizes it to create a more charitable society for a broader umbrella of people. So rather than one person taking from another person, it creates systems that use those drivers. And, there's the banks, they have a way to give you money. It just creates systems around it so that more people can coexist. And that's society.
And also
Of course,
creates systems of institutionalized violence, wherein
pre-
violence is sanctioned and can be
precisely.
channeled, whether that is through sports or through mm, like also entrepreneurship,
Yes,
as
of
if
course.
we want to look at it as a form of violence, because
Yeah.
it is
That
overpowering
that makes
opponents.
yeah, I really like the idea of taking those, like, the primal energies. When I say I like the idea, I think it's a good explanation. We have taken something we have taken this crazy energy and we have made a society out of it. So of course society has structural oppression and racism and, like, all of the problems that we see. Now, why I think this is a Western take. A lot of the problems, I don't know, I'm not a historian, don't at me. This I'm just talking from um information osmosis from being born in the South, the global South. A lot of the pre-colonial, um what's the right way to word this? Let's go at it from an ideas point of view. I think an Eastern take on this is your base primal instincts are your lowest needs or your lowest drivers. So even if we look at something like the yogic chakras, if you start from the base, I think it's called Muladhara, that's the one responsible for your food, like whatever, your hunger, your sexual appetite, all of the base stuff. And as you ascend, I don't know all the specifics, the third eye stuff, I'm not going to make all of that up, but as you ascend, there are different parts of your being that are addressed. So you go from being very physical body drives to more mental, more metabolism, more like thoughts, love, heart. Like, so you're similar. I wouldn't say it's the Maslow's hierarchy, but it's like a very rough. Like, your desires are, they become more complicated, and humans are not just their physical
Needs.
impulses, because then
Mm.
we'd just be animals. Like, the only difference between us and animals is that we're not com- we do not have to act on our compulsions. We can think and create all the whatever. So I think the Eastern take is different from, like, the only way to create society is not through channeling um the rawness of the primal being. So that's why I'd say it's a Western take. I do think that's how society is structured, though, currently, and for the foreseeable future. Um,
I
that's about it.
I wonder, so like there have been many societies and many ways in which humankind has articulated itself throughout history.
Yeah,
And I think what colonization has done was kind of like export and kind of globalize a specific way to,
branch. Yep.
yes, like a specific brand of
Yeah.
channeling and channeling instincts more than responding to them. But
Hmm.
if we look at other societies, they also had ways to
Of
channel
course.
violence
Of
that
course.
were not necessarily more holy. They were not essentially holier than
Of course.
European takes.
Of
Like
course.
like Aztec society was heavily reliant
Yeah.
on blood sacrifices,
Sacrifices.
which
Yes.
was not great.
Yeah.
And also, like natives had strong social hierarchies and personal strength was a very real factor in how you would garner respect.
Of course. All
And
all societies.
yes, and like sub-Saharan and Saharan tribes used to sell slaves to white colonizers in West African ports. So,
Hmm.
like the
Yeah.
this inner African wound of Africans trading other Africans as slaves has not yet been addressed. But
Yeah.
uh, I
Of course.
don't think, like, I think the societies and like places in which the structure has articulated as answering needs and meeting needs instead of channeling them are very few. And
Hmm.
something that I think Western thinkers and what Western cultures at large struggle with and are at very risk of is kind of like projecting this untouched and pure idea of like how a different society could work on
Hmm.
those holy savages, the good
Yeah.
savage, the myth that Rousseau not created but like popularized, and that was also like written in w- by I think it was William Dafoe with Robinson Crusoe of this Friday dude
Yeah.
who was like the noble savage. And this idea has also been projected on native tribes, not wrongly, as like, I mean, we kind of tend to do when we have victims of atrocious crimes. And I feel like it's kind of understandable to mm, project an idea of like these people having been murdered unjustly, obviously, because and the murder isn't just not because they are people, but because they were like noble and good natured people who lived in peace in this rural idyllic society, which didn't exist because people,
People are
I feel
people.
like people
Yeah.
are
No,
people.
I understand.
And I mean, that violence was unjust because they were human beings, not because they were noble
They were
savages.
nice. Yeah, not because they were nice and eating, bananas by the beach. Um,
Yes,
yeah,
and
I
this idea, sorry, sorry.
No, no, no. Go ahead. No, no, go
Oh,
ahead.
and I feel like we in the West, we have this idea of the East as well, the Orient.
Yeah,
Uh, uh, I feel dirty for saying this word, but like we like the Edward Said Orientalism has described a very real way that like European society, in particularly in the 17 and 1800s, was looking at the East, especially the Far East, as like this place, like this magical place where
exotic.
people were meditating under trees or like they were drinking teas served by geishas. Come on,
Yeah.
give me a
Yeah.
break.
Yeah. The sad thing is that human beings doing human being stuff, so genocides, murder, like pillaging, rape, like all of the stuff, it's you
Also
slaves.
idealizing other people, like
Yes.
along with the
All this
genocide.
is, yeah. I think none of this is okay. When survival was a lot more difficult and you did not have civilization in the way that it does today, or when there were concrete problems and a lot of the people, um what's the right word for this, like society hadn't developed in the way that it has, and this is pretty recent. I saw like a 50-year-old video of literally 50 years of a black like a neighborhood where black people in America were, my God, bro, the racism. Like kids calling them the N word, not letting them. And this is like 2000. It was 1970s. It's crazy the
Calling
things.
them the N word when they are not actively lynching them.
Yes, and
Jesus
not
Christ.
letting them come to like a and bullying kids. Like kids were bullying other kids. Like there was a black girl who was cycling. She was pushed, like, get out of here, N word. If I see you here, I'll kill you. What are you doing? And those videos that I saw, those people are still alive. It's 1975 or
Yes.
something. They're the people in positions of power, arguably. I was reading another book by David Goggins, who's very famous on the internet. But he had a very he had a lot of those examples chronicled in his book of his early upbringing. It was rough, bro. And this is very recent, so you can think like the further we go back, like the atrocities will only get spicier. Um, oh man, I saw this part of a documentary of how they used to, like, the mouthpieces they would put on slaves when they were picking fruit so that they wouldn't eat it. It's just crazy. And one of the captors fancied himself a poet. He has like poetry on the beauty of the gardens and his slaves picking his fruit. It's just wild. Like you read it, you understand it conceptually, but when you imagine that this was an actual person capable of doing this, it's just like it's unbelievable. It's just world has been always been physical power domination. If I'm stronger, I will take your what is yours. It's just sad that it is still like this because it doesn't have to be like this anymore. You- no,
It's
that's the start of when we became humans from chimps. Kind of made sense. Like, okay, like we
even
were animal.
chimps, if you
Yes,
look
even chimps.
at them.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so the thing with chimps though, even if they're intelligent, they do not have the capability to go beyond their biology. Their life is dictated by biology.
They have the
Um,
capability for malice. I'm
yes.
100% sure.
Of course, but it's all biological. It's if you're the alpha in the group, there's more things, you mate more, you eat more, all that stuff. And that is your entire like a chimp's life or an animal's life has a upper bound. Like you cannot go, you are dictated. If you have food, if you have mates, then you die. That's kind of it. And there's some like enrichment that can happen, but there's no upper bound. Human potential is, unlike chimps or animals, pretty limitless. And it's a shame that we are still, the fact that we're still in a like winner takes all, if I'm stronger, I dominate, means that we just haven't transcended the physical world. And when I say transcend, I don't mean like the woo woo way where you're drinking tea and meditating, but it's like there's more to stuff. We have enough food to feed everyone on the planet, like significantly more food than I don't know if people know this. We have more food to feed the entire. We've had it for many years. There's still people starving and all of this.
We need to feed the livestock for the rich countries.
Yeah. If you went on a completely plant-based, I'm talking about we have enough food without a plant-based diet. We still have enough food. But if you just go
Really?
into, yes, there's enough to feed everybody. But if you move to a plant-based diet, of course, food multiplies because livestock takes so much to farm and, like so much food you need to feed them. Um, that being said, I think we just call it today.
I would just add one
Yes.
little thing just
Okay.
to make sure the doom and gloom of the discussion really sets in.
Okay. Let's go.
Like when you describe those really horrible things that people have done to each other,
Mm-hmm.
and when we read them, we do have that feeling of being I can't believe this person has done that to someone. Just
Yes.
because maybe we wouldn't do it, but if we really think about the ramification of our lives, and even just now, like, I think it's strange how we are not used to violence, or how we are still kind of pretending to be shocked by the violence that people have heaped upon each other, because we have so much evidence that that is still the norm, and
Mm-hmm.
that is how our society is constructed from
Of
the
course.
food we eat. I understand that some people don't see killing animals as morally wrong. Okay, but we still kill them. We can
Of
acknowledge
course.
that that is a
Of
violent
course.
act.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't feel like this is a cynical take, but I think us being surprised at violence, or being shocked, or feeling like we don't understand it,
It's privilege.
it's not just privilege. I feel like it's very naive. Because there is something that it's horrible, and I understand that we don't want to engage with that psychologically,
Of
but
course. I
it
think
is
that's it.
something we should sit with and
Yeah.
understand how deeply our existence is
Violent.
hurting
Yes.
everything and everyone.
Yes. Just to set it in even deeper. When you said I don't when we are shocked by something, some of the horrible stuff and we say we wouldn't do this. I don't necessarily think that's true. I think if we had the exact same circumstances as perpetrators of this evil, and by exact I mean exact, like
We would.
same upbringing, all the like if I were in Nazi Germany, would I be Schindler or would I be what 99% of the people were, and I would also kill people. Or if I were in Israel, yeah, I said the I word. Oh no, would I be the people protesting or writing the B'Tselem reports, or would I be like kill everyone?
uh,
The thing is, I think in the exact same circumstances, we would be capable of the same evil, and saying we would not is very, very naive. That is a misunderstanding of how humans work. Um,
Yes. And I don't know, I always bring it back to the diet, but I feel like it's true. None of, at least where I live, none of us grew up a vegetarian. None of us was born a vegetarian or
yeah,
a vegan, or a plant with a plant-based diet. It was it was something, a change that we had to go through ourselves to distance
figure
ourselves
it out.
from the upbringing that was imposed on us, because upbringing
Hmm.
is imposed. You
Yeah,
don't get the choice.
no, I understand. I am not, for the audience. I am not vegan or vegetarian, but it's a very shared experience. Like growing up, you do not perceive um the meals that you don't think about it. It's just you're
No,
born into your this is what food is, and you don't, and that's kind of it. And then
exactly.
there's a
And the
yeah,
people the IDF is killing are not people to them because they were brought up dehumanizing them. And slave
precisely.
owners were brought were dehumanizing slaves. They were not committing those horrible acts on people they cared about.
Yeah. Yeah, they
They
didn't
were
wake up one
committing the
day and they were like, "Okay, today I will be." No, it's not. That's not how it works. You're always born into systems where that is that is what you do. And of course, to break the chains, you need to um, grow up and think for yourself.
It's
That being
interesting how
said,
people break them, but we could talk about that, like examples of how people broke out of the systems they were born into mentally. That is very
yeah,
interesting.
an episode on revolutions and breaking the chains sounds cool. Um, there you go.
Sounds hopeful.
Yes, like it actually does. If you, like you said, we're like are being surprised at. Now, just to be clear, I don't think either of us are like shocked when we say like we can't believe. It's just it's a form of um it's an emotivist approach. Like this is a
Yes.
happening, and like we have to say like, oh no, this is bad. That is just a way of saying holy shit, that's evil, that is horrible. So I don't think it's the literal words. um that being said though, uh it could be, the revolution thing could be hopeful if we understand the reality of the world and everything isn't sunshine and rainbows and podcasts and whatever.
But it feels hopeful to know that, just because you were born into a system that works like that, you are not chained to that for life. You can change.
Of
You
course.
can change your opinions, and you can change your behaviors. Uh,
Of
and
course.
whenever someone comes up on the internet saying, "I was an incel, and this is how I stopped being one," or like the other day I read how I how I I stopped being a Zionist, the brainwashing.
Yeah.
Wow. So this can
Yep.
change.
Of course.
It is a possibility. It's not set in stone. And how
That
shocking and I mean, all pervasive and all. I mean, violence has been here forever, but it still can change.
yeah.
The possibility is there. Okay. This was Veronica,
This is a treat though.
and this was No Strings Attached. Thank you for being with us.
Yes. Thank you. We appreciate it.
We love you and we see you and we appreciate you.
We
Okay.